tefillin the whole day. Do you know how much holiness you have to have when you put on tefillin? This is Hashem's name on you 42 times. But he was so careful. He was careful because he says, really, that's how a Jew is supposed to walk in the street, with talis and tefillin. Only today, people aren't on such a level. But he demanded it from himself. And he wore so many talisim that they had to blow fans on him, even in the winter, so that he shouldn't overheat and faint.
No.
Wow.
No.
Rabbi Vosner, the great Dayan, the great Av Beis Din, was worried that some of the Sifrei Torah, Tefillin, and Mezuzahs are not being written properly. And he made a whole vad establishing to train the Sifrim that you are doing such a holy job. And thanks to him, it's a better world. Better Mezuzahs, better Sifrei Torah, better Tefillin. Do you know when he was young, he learned by the great Reb Meir Shapiro, who started the Daf Yomi. One day he called Rabbi Vosner and he said, come, let's go for a walk. And he said to Rabbi Vosner, who would be a future Gadol Hador, he said to Rabbi Vosner that he was never given children. Rabbi Meir Shapiro, great rabbi, never had children. But he says, I have two children. One of them is Yeshiva Chachmei Lublin. This yeshiva is my baby. And the other baby is Daf Yomi. That I united so many thousands Jews to learn every day together. This is my baby. His Rebbe taught him that a person's Maisim Tovim, that's his children. His good deeds. I know one rabbi who wrote a sefer on Chumash. He said it took him 9 months. He said, this is my baby. Was born after 9 months. Rabbi Yashiv would wake up sometimes 2:30 in the morning. One time someone put a video into his window to see what time the Rebbe wakes up. And he saw 2:30 in the morning. The Rebbe, the Rav with his Gemara, singing the Niggin to himself. Can you imagine waking up 2.5 minutes earlier than you planned, just to sit by a Gemara, or girls, by maybe a sefer of stories of tzaddikim and tzidkanios? You know what that does to you? That's godless. One time, Reb Baruch Beer was teaching Reb Aaron, the future Reb Aaron Cutler. And he was exhausted. Reb Aaron was asking him questions, and they were like fire together. So someone said to Reb Baruch Beer, the Talmud of Reb Chaim Brisker, maybe take a break, you know? You've been giving a long shir for hours, and now you're arguing. He says one day, half the Jewish world is going to sit on his shoulders. I have to give it my all. Wow. Passing the Torah from one generation to the next is the ultimate goal of every gadol. The Chafetz Chaim did that by writing a Mishnah Brura, down-to-earth halachos. Now there's a big movement of studying Mishnah Brura every day a page. Wow. One time when the Chafetz Chaim was about 80 years old, he told his student, can you please come here? I want you to count my teeth. The student thought to himself, yikes, what am I supposed to do? He says, please, just count my teeth. Oh, count Rebbe's teeth. Okay, yikes. And he's sitting there. I can't believe I'm doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 28, 32. Chafetz Chaim said, Gewaldig, were any of the teeth cracked? No. Did any of them have cavities? You know those holes you get when you eat too much donuts? No. The rabbi said, Gewalt. My whole life I guarded my mouth not to speak Lashon Hara. So Hashem protected my mouth that my teeth shouldn't break. Please don't discuss with me how many cavities I have. That's private information. But like I said, every gadol has his lessons that we must strive to learn from. Reb Moshe Feinstein, do you know Moshe Feinstein?
I know.
Had so much kedusha from learning Torah. Just last week, Reb David Feinstein, his son, sat in for a Torah show. I told you? At MTJ. Remind me to send you the picture. Baruch Hashem. But you know what? Rav Moshe Feinstein one time was learning Torah L'Shema. That means I'm learning Torah because Hashem wants us to know this. Not learning it for kavod, not learning this. I have to know. Hashem wants us to know this, to know what to do. We have to know the Torah. And someone told him, Rebbe, there was a bicycle accident outside. I think it's a Jewish person. You know what Rav Moshe said? Can't be. They went and checked and they saw it wasn't a Jewish person. So they said, how did the Rebbe know it wasn't a Jewish person? Do you have Ruach HaKodesh? He says, I was learning Torah here with all my might. It wouldn't make sense that an accident would have happened right outside. The Torah brings protection to the world. I always thought Torah Magno Matzla means it protects a person who learns it. By Rav Moshe, Torah protects the world. What are you talking about? Can't be. Rav Moshe Feinstein had patience and humility for everyone. When he came to Camp Aguda, he kissed his grandson. And then right after that, he kissed the other children. He explained to someone, it wouldn't be nice if I just kissed my grandson. The other kids might feel, hey, I don't have a grandfather who kisses me. So I made sure everyone got the Zelba kiss that I gave my own anicle. Sensitivity to others. Rav Moshe Feinstein would say, I don't know why someone wants to work on Shabbos. There are some people, they think they have to work on Shabbos. He says, don't they know that you're going to make money as much as Hashem already decided in Rosh Hashanah? Working on Shabbos wouldn't help. Whatever you're going to make, you're going to make. Yes?
Are you talking about Slavchad?
Slavchad? What would you like to say about him?
He knows that they're forbidden to work.
Oh, very good. Slavchad worked on Shabbos. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's right. Brilliant comments. Yes, Menashe.
Do you have any videos of Rav Shlomo Mendel?
Rav Shlomo Mendel, I actually was zoichet to hear him daven, and boy, oh boy, did he melt my heart. But unfortunately, I don't have any recordings. Maybe we could try to get a hold of. Now, let me tell you a story about Reb Shalom Shvadron and his brother-in-law, Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. Reb Shalom Shvadron was the Maggid. Yes, you have a comment?
You must be familiar with Hasidic.
Yes.
Do you know any? Could you tell me anything about Rabbi Weinberg?
Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, Reb Chaim Aaron Weinberg was a true lion. I'll tell you a funny story. When he started his yeshiva tells, he said that any parent enrolling their child in this yeshiva is not allowed to have a television in the house. So there were some people that had televisions. So he said, no. We'll come to the house and check. If there's a television, there's no way our Rebbe can be matzliach with your son if he watches the Kli Mashchis. And he quoted the Baba Rebbe. Then, shortly after, there was a mountain of TVs piled up by the gym in Ateret of all the parents who had to bring me. He didn't say throw it out. He said, bring it to me. Bring it to me. And they had a pile of televisions in the yeshiva, unusual scene, because he wanted to make sure that you guard your children, and that's how they'll be safe. Isn't that an interesting story? Now let me tell you a story about Reb Shalom Shadron. One time, Reb Shalom invited to his house a Jewish person who didn't smell too good. I think the person never took a shower in their life, and they smelled worse than a skunk. So his son-in-law said, Tati, you're not serious? Maybe I can find him a place to go. I'll send food to his house. And Reb Shalom said, we have to have him in the house. So when he came, the whole house kind of like moved over against the wall, like by the window, trying to breathe whatever oxygen was left in the building. So someone said to him, Abba, why did you feel like you have to have him? He said, because when a person does Averis, he smells. And one day I'm going to want to go to Gan Eden to sit with Hashem in Olam Haba. And I'm afraid Hashem might say to me, Shalom, you smell. You can't be in here. So I'll be able to say, Hashem, I was able to endure the stink of someone else in my house. So Hashem should be able to let me in his house, even with my Averis. Well, yes.
Houses don't move. They don't have legs, and they don't breathe because they're not human. How can a house move if it's not human?
Oh.
Don't have legs.
Okay, I stand to be corrected. Now I want to tell you a story about Reb David Kviat. Reb David Kviat was the Rosh Hashiva of the Mir, and he wrote a Sefer Sukkos David, and sometimes in the back he has these short vortlich that are just absolutely, simply brilliant, that even a simple person can understand the brilliance. So, one day he walked into Camp Manavu, and he saw that guy's great camp. He saw so many children learning Mishnayos, drinking hot cocoa before davening. He called over the guy who ran the cocoa club. His name is Pruzansky. And he says, I can never do what you do. He's like, huh? What? He says, how do you get so many children to learn Torah before davening? He says, how do you do it? He says, well, Rabbi, frankly, they're here for the hot cocoa. He says, I couldn't do it. He was able to humble himself and tell someone that don't think what you're doing is not great. This is incredible. How do you get so many people to come to shul before davening? Let people come early to learn Torah. And the guy got a tremendous chizuk from the humility and encouraging words of Rabbi Kviat. One time I asked Rabbi Scheinberg, what should I tell my students is the reason you wear so many talesim, almost 100? You know what he said? He said, ask them when they have ice cream, do they like 1 scoop of ice cream or 2 or 3 scoops of ice cream? He says, well, I think they'll all say the more the better. He said, that's the attitude for Torah and mitzvahs. You have to always say, the more the better. Yes.
How come you...
Not so fluent Yiddish. Now, the next story I'd like to tell you is about the Vizhnitzer Rebbe. One time a man came to his office and he wanted a bracha, so he asked the businessman, tell me, did you learn today's Sefer Chayvus Halvavais? He says, not today, but yesterday I did. So the Rebbe said to him, every day you have to read that Sefer. He says, that Sefer teaches you how to live. He says, that Sefer shows you how much Hashem loves you and cares for you. He says, would you skip breakfast, lunch, and supper? He says, just like you wouldn't skip eating, you shouldn't skip a day with Chayvus Halvavais. And ever since then, I keep a Chayvus Halvavais in my car. Actually, you should open it up once in a while. Okay, now. The next story is quite interesting. When Rebbe Kiva Eger was a newborn baby, someone told him, the mother, that I'm afraid to share this news with you, but it seems that there was a hole in the baby's lung. And they told Rebbe Kiva Eger's mother that she shouldn't really expect the baby to live so long. But Rebbe Kiva Eger devoted his life to Torah. And he was zeicha to tremendous arichas yamim. So Rabbi Akiva Eger was a living Sefer Torah. So the next time you hear someone singing the song, Kihem Chayenu V'Hayrech Yameinu, just know that there are living examples of this. How Torah is Chayecha V'Hayrech Yamecha. One time someone was building a house on Shabbos. So Rabbi Akiva Eger told him, he can't build a house on Shabbos, but he was having a guy do the construction. Rabbi Akiva Eger told him, he's wasting his time. There's no bracha and work that's done on Shabbos. And you know what happened? Little bugs called termites started chewing into the main beam of the building, and the guy had to demolish the building, the architect said, before it collapses, and he had to rebuild it. Rabbi Akiva Eger warned him, by getting the guy to work for you on Shabbos, you're not allowed to do that, and the house wouldn't last. And that was Ruach HaKodesh. He was so humble. You know what it says on the grave of Rabbi Akiva Eger? It says, I am a servant to the servants of God. Eved la'avdei Hashem. I am a servant to Jews. That's who I am. Who am I? I'm a servant to Jews. Some people, they call themselves a public servant, but he really felt it. Now I'd like to tell you a cute story about the Ben Ish Chai. When he was just 4 years old, he wanted to hold the Havdalah candle, the fire. So his father says to him,